Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio this afternoon after 1 o'clock as we are here with you kicking off Thanksgiving week, Egg Bowl week, and more. Or at least we hope Egg Bowl week will continue to monitor. But today was a good sign. We've gotten to this point without any issues. So there we are. Same cannot be said for the Ole Miss basketball program. It is on hiatus until December the 7th because of I believe multiple positives was what the press release said earlier today, something like that. So 4 games canceled. The Justin Reed Classic, which included games against Central Arkansas, Arkansas State, Jackson State, I believe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Those games are headed into the ether. They're
as well as Ole Miss and Memphis.
That is no longer.
You know, that whole deal that Ross did years ago looks worse and worse by the second, doesn't it? Like back then, it was football for basketball. Passenger wouldn't really let the basketball happen. They played one time last November, and that's pretty much it. Peace.
I'm willing to criticize Ross for a lot of things, but I'm going to give him a pass on this one.
Well, I mean, on this particular game,
it feels like a little bit of a stretch. That damn Bjork. I don't know. I can't get there.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, results, okay? Like,
Ross
I don't know.
Ross is getting a call. So Chase blamed you for their COVID outbreak that cost him the Memphis game. He's like, damn.
Just in general, that deal, even to begin with, football for basketball, when they had the ability to put off the basketball series, had some issues with it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. There should have been a little more concrete on when what was going to happen with that. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I hadn't talked to Ross in a while, actually. It's going okay in Aggie Land.
Yeah, I hadn't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. So I guess A&M's going to play football this weekend too. I assume since Kellen Mond is back off the contact trace list.
Yes, A&M will play.
Yes.
My gut. We'll talk about this in a minute. We got to pay some bills and stuff first, but my gut is that everybody plays this weekend.
I think it all happens.
I have a strong suspicion that they're going to get games in this weekend, and that assuming Alabama beats Auburn and assuming that Florida beats Kentucky, I think Sunday is going to be a pretty newsy day.
Well, we found out about that, too. Well, Pace will come back. Podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You can download the Speed Pass Plus app. Use it. It's an efficient way to pay right there at the pump. Don't have to go inside, and you get on with your way. But when you do that, you also earn points. That saves you money in the long run and more. They run some contests different times through the Speed Pass Plus app and more. And then you also can get the lunch special inside. If you'd like to go in, $5.69, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. That's at the Oxford Exxon. The Speed Pass Plus app available at all Blue Sky locations around Mississippi. And again, coming from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. All you got to do is give my friend Corey a call. I did it just yesterday because a couple of ours need some servicing and that type thing. Just get on the schedule, 662-257-1900. What you do is you call that number, you ask for a quote. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. I was talking to Corey the other day. I don't know how much of this was supposed to be publicized, but because of the pandemic and shutdowns and states having different rules and such, there are deals to be had out there. We always tell you about end-of-the-year deals, and this year there could certainly be some of those. So get in touch with Corey if you're interested in a quote. He's going to send you one within 15 minutes in business hours. Then you can take it from there. You can shop it around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guest will join us this week on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters on the Square is open. Be a great place to hang out this week. I guess on Friday there'll be all the Black Friday stuff going on. There's some football games on. The mighty Iowa Hawkeyes play that day. There's other teams as well on Friday. There's actually a handful of really good games on Friday. And then, of course, a full slate on Saturday, including Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So be a great place to hang out, watch the games, enjoy getting away from the shopping and all of that stuff, and enjoy the burgers, the po' boys, the chicken, everything that's there at Rafters. Drink specials as well. Rafters, music, and food on the Square in Oxford.
So the SEC put out, earlier today that there would be no game times announced for today.
It's because they don't know which games are getting played.
And they said that they're going to do one of those 6-day window things this time. They'll tell you next Monday what time everybody's going to play. Because, they're going to move some games around. That's what's coming.
They are waiting for Saturday because they well, frankly, for lack of a better word, the league needs Alabama to beat Auburn, and the league needs Florida to beat Kentucky. Because once that happens, there's a very clear plan that can be put into place that lets you get all 71 games in. The 70 regular season games and the championship. And then have it all done by the 19th, and that way when the bowls go out, everybody can raise their hand and say, yes, we want to go to a bowl, or no, we really don't want to go to a bowl, or whatever. And then you can fulfill all your bowl things, and you can get your money. Because if this basketball thing's not scaring the hell out of you, the fan, let me assure you, it's scaring the hell out of the administrative people who normally pay the bills. And you and I talked about this the other day. I'll repeat it just for the sake of people that listen for the first time. Normally, SEC programs make money in basketball. Not generational wealth or anything, but they make enough money.
I think Ole Miss made like $4 million or something last year. I could find it, but something like that.
They're in the black.
Sure.
That's not going to be the case this year necessarily. And so then you've got SEC baseball programs, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, Arkansas, South Carolina. I'm sure I'm missing one or two. A&M that typically break even or make a little bit of money, pay for themselves.
Sure.
And they won't this year because, barring something changing, and God, I hope I'm wrong. I hope people are sending me pictures of 10,000 people at Swayze going, you're an idiot. I'll be like, thank God.
Yeah. Hey.
Thank you. I'll take every one
You'll
of those
wear
pictures.
a dunce hat on the show for a month if that's what it takes.
Happily.
Yeah.
But as of this moment, if you're making plans as an administrator for baseball season, you're planning on losing money. So you got to get these football games in. You got to get them in. You got to get the TV money. You can't lose 1/10 of the TV money. That's too much money to lose. And you need the bowl games and all of that stuff. So here we go. So we're at that point where the games need to be played. Mississippi State played under the limit on Saturday in Athens. I think Missouri played under the limit on Saturday in Columbia, South Carolina. And Arkansas was either under the limit or right at the limit and probably had to stretch some things in a spot or two to play. But all of those teams did, and I know that the rest of the league is likely very thankful because after the shenanigans of LSU and the shenanigans of Texas A&M screwed things up, everybody started thinking about the bottom line again.
Which, again, it's prorated. You lose percentages for every game that's not played.
We said this in July. We said it in August. We said it in September. There were two goals. Get to the starting line. They did it. And then get to the finish line. And that's the deal. And all the competitive stuff has to take a back seat, and it had for about 7 weeks. And then people got weird.
And for whatever reason, the contact tracing took off. And what's interesting about that, and I think it's where the league got pissed off, especially after last week, is contact tracing is such a vague deal and how it's interpreted differently and how it's sort of a word-of-mouth thing a little bit. It's really easy to ignore it if you need to ignore it, and it's really good to use that as a absolute reason if you'd like to use it as an absolute reason. And that's what happened a little bit. Was they said, hey, I don't know. He was around him, and who knows. On the other side, like you said, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Alabama, Arkansas, they just show up and play.
Yeah.
Just play. As long as they have the right number at the right positions, which is a requirement, they just kind of play.
I thought Sam Pittman's quote on Friday probably needed to be laminated and sent to everybody around the league, which was, if we can do it, we're going to do it. If we can play, we're going to play. It's not ideal. And frankly, their lack of defensive linemen probably cost them a game on Saturday against what is a very average LSU team.
Sure.
But they got it in. And what was more important for them this year, certainly, and frankly for everybody this year, is get the TV money, get to the next place, move on. And I think everyone's hoping that next fall we're looking back at this fall going, whoo, that was a ride, huh? What credit to Sam Pittman and Elijah Drinkwitz and, frankly, Mike Leach last week that they all could have been like, hey, we just can't. And everybody criticizes Sankey. I don't know what you think Sankey can do. Get in his car and drive and go, I want to see every one of these tests for myself. I don't believe you. He can't accuse a team of, oh, no, I don't believe your COVID issues. He can't say that. I mean, just literally can't do that. So all they can do behind the scenes is remind them, hey, you do know that us not getting the money is you not getting the money. Us not getting the money is going to lead to a problem for you down the road. Let's all do our part here. If you can play, please, for the love of God, play. He did get that message across. He was upset at LSU, at Texas A&M. But it is what it is. And assuming the games get in this weekend, and assuming that Alabama wins and that Florida wins, I expect sometime late Saturday, even maybe while we're doing hand raise, guys, I think stuff's going to break.
On Saturday.
As early as Saturday.
Yeah, sure.
Because the late game is, Alabama plays at 2:30, Florida plays at 11. So, yeah, you could start knocking that out. Those are the only two teams that have to win to be able to go ahead and do it.
Because once that's done, it's set. I mean, there's nothing.
People say, what does it mean for Ole Miss? By the way, we need to thank Sammy before he disappears. I lost it on my stream. I don't know if you can. Oh, there it is. Sammy, thanks for the chat. Really appreciate that. Always nice to get a super chat from you, my friend. He says, big day for the OEP Racing Stable. Crossword won at the Del Mar Friday, and Georgia Rebel has his vertical threat as the 3-1 favorite at Mahoning Valley at 3 today. So we're
doing some racing.
I guess we're all cheering for vertical threat. I have no problem cheering for vertical threat. Good luck to vertical threat. Hope he gets it done.
Give him some extra oats this morning. See how that thing pops.
I bet vertical threat woke up this morning and he said
it was race day.
It's race day. It is race day.
People believe Secretariat actually knew he was racing.
Well, there's no way to prove that he didn't know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They believe he knew it. He wanted to kick Sham's ass.
You think he knew? You think he knew Sham's the only one who can take my place in history away today? And that day he was like, Sham?
Not today, bud.
Not today. Take a good look at my ass because that's what you're going to be looking at for a minute and 30 seconds.
If you're Shams owners, though, don't you go, hey, any other freaking year, the amount of money that this family or her families or whatever generationally wins if he's just born in any other freaking year? Because, I mean, he's an all-time horse, but stuck in that year. And, hey, them's the breaks.
Patrick Kelly wants to know if I'm going on the Basilio show. I think I'm going on Wednesday. That's what they asked me to do. So I was like, yeah, sure.
What are we doing?
Tony Basilio in Knoxville, they're absolutely campaigning.
For Hugh?
For Hugh Freeze, yeah.
Is it a bit?
No, I think it's real.
You don't think it's a bit?
I'm not sure. I think it's legit. All the Tennessee fans want Hugh Freeze. And then what's the word on Burrow? Was it really bad? Was it worse than the ACL?
I haven't seen anything beyond that. I don't know.
Well, that sucked. I was watching that when that happened.
Yeah, I refused to watch it. That was good.
That would stink, man, for him. Because I like that. But he was taking a beating back there.
Oh, they did him no favors at all.
Oh, wow. ACL, MCL, and more.
Oh, really?
For Burrow. He tore his ACL, MCL, and suffered other structural issues in his left knee, sources told Adam Schefter and Ben Baby. An MRI taken Monday revealed the damage. Well, that sucks.
That's really bad.
He took a beating back there, I mean, all year. He really played well. That's a lot to fix.
Oh, and it's probably will be okay. But you never want to have to use that word with your rookie franchise quarterback.
No.
I didn't see it. I was driving when it happened, and then I got home and kind of intentionally avoided it.
It looked bad. When they said ACL tear alone, I remember thinking to myself, well, that's a gift.
Oh, that would have been okay. I don't know. I'm looking at the revenue report. I was trying to find that basketball number, and I'm going to have to check on a couple of things because it looks like they almost are with basketball like zeroing it out. They got revenues and expenses look like it's even, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know.
See, when you told me that number, I thought that was a little big. I thought they made some money on basketball, but it wasn't a ton.
Okay. 11 point something on both in fiscal year 19. The best I can see. I mean, I'm scrolling while we're trying to talk. But,
yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm seeing here.
So anyway, for Ole Miss, people say, what does it mean? Here's what I think for Ole Miss is I think Texas A&M gets moved to next week.
Sure.
LSU gets moved to the 19th. So Ole Miss will play Mississippi State, if I'm right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Ole Miss will play Mississippi State Saturday, Texas A&M in College Station on the 5th. They'll have an open date on the 12th, and then they'll play LSU in Baton Rouge on the 19th. I think LSU will play host to Alabama on the 5th, go to Florida on the 12th, play Ole Miss on the 19th. Alabama will play LSU on the 5th. They'll move the Arkansas game to the 12th in Fayetteville.
Okay.
Arkansas is, I guess, the only team on schedule right now, so they'll get a week off on the 5th, play on the 12th as their 10th game. Auburn will play. Auburn will have off the 5th now. They'll play Mississippi State on the 12th, and then Auburn will play host to Texas A&M on the 19th. A&M will play Ole Miss, then at Tennessee, at Auburn. That's the West. I don't care about the East. Somebody else can figure that out. There's a Missouri-Vanderbilt game. Whatever, something.
Move it around, do whatever with it. It's all good. Just play the 71 games. However, find a way to play 71 football games.
That's the way. It's doable.
As long as nothing crazy happens.
Got to play the games this week. Alabama wins. Florida wins. So you set them up. Alabama, Florida then are cemented into the 19th in the SEC championship game. And then you can work your way back.
Did you figure that all out?
Did
you get pen and paper and figure that all out?
I actually did play with it.
Nose to the grindstone a little bit more?
I did play with it, and then I asked some people if I was onto something, and I wasn't told that I wasn't. Let's put it that way. Yes, Matt Corral did talk to media today. We'll talk about that in a minute. Pretty interesting. Some interesting stuff. Lane Kiffin, Matt Corral, and Elijah Moore all talked to media today.
Lane didn't say much today.
Lane didn't say much. Lane did for this game what we thought Lane would do for this game.
Said just enough and then got out.
Yeah.
That's a big game. That's important. Recruiting.
I mean, he's handling it the way that you need to handle it. It doesn't need to be fire and brimstone, biggest game of the year. You're going to turn around and play in 2 more games, 3 more games. You need to win it and move on. You get a chance to – look, Ole Miss still has a chance to make national noise. Ole Miss goes to Texas A&M and wins. They're done. You get a chance to play spoiler.
Oh, you're all over the TV that day.
Get a chance to go play LSU in a December game. I'm going to tell you this. I like this scheduling better.
Just overall, yeah.
In general. I'm in favor, actually, watching this, of moving the start of the season back to mid-September, back 2 weeks, and move the end back 2 weeks. The weather's better. Labor Day weekend? Mm-hmm. It's hotter than hell. It's not particularly entertaining. This last few weeks, these are the nice weeks. Like this weekend coming up, the high is like 60-something. It's good weather to play. 96 degrees and humid is not great weather. I mean, if we're being serious.
Oh, if anything, it's been a little warm. It'll actually be even better most years. I mean, we've had more heat. We haven't had the big cold snap that's going to hit yet. It was a little chilly today, but not really.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it's nice.
So, yeah. Anyway, all right, we'll talk more Egg Bowl, more basketball, and more in a second. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Sutter County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
With fall upon us, now's a great time to start preparing for colder weather. No one wants to come home, find out their heating system isn't working. Our friends over at Comer Heating and Air have you covered. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust, brings more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. Comer Heating and Air is offering a special fall preventative maintenance agreement to make sure your heating system is running in tip-top shape. Make sure to call Comer Heating and Air, 662-801-1777 for all your heating and cooling needs. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Christmas right around the corner. Avoid the last-minute holiday scramble this year. Let the folks over at Blue Delta Jeans make your holiday gifting simple. Visit their site at bluedeltajeans.com or stop by the Oxford studio to purchase your loved ones a gift card for a pair of bespoke Mississippi-made jeans. Every gift card for the full value of a jean will receive a signed copy of Wright Thompson's newly released Pappyland. It's the story of Julian Van Winkle III, the third-generation head of a little whiskey brand known as Pappy Van Winkle. Signed copies of Pappyland are limited, so don't wait. Also, don't forget that Blue Delta is here for your holiday gifting at work as well, no matter the number of people in your company. Give Blue Delta a call. Inquire about bringing Blue Delta jeans to your office for the best birthday gift out there. We are also brought to you. Where'd it go? Sorry. Had a little skip there. Dead Soxy is back with its annual BOGO this week. Buy one, get one. Here's a chance to add to your collection if you missed out on the score sale. So use the code BLUE, BLUE, to redeem. You must put both items in your cart before checkout. This deal applies to all items on the website except for collaborations. Bundles are included. You can mix and match different bundles. There's a catch. Only one BOGO per transaction. So if you put 6 bundles in your cart, it's only going to give you one bundle. But you can. It's an unlimited number of transactions. Each item or bundle that you want to BOGO on, complete a separate transaction. Use the code BLUE, BLUE. It's that simple. Head over to deadsoxy.com, use the promo code BLUE, and as always, stay Soxy. We are also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan is the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan Nissan vehicles. So go in, test drive one today. Tell them that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
So, yeah, Lane Kiffin today basically just said, you know what, State's played better against Georgia. Give them credit for that. Basically, they would win the game had old Georgia not changed quarterbacks and play Daniels on Saturday, which is probably true.
Probably true.
They were. They were competitive. They played hard. He mentioned their defense playing very violent up front from a defensive line standpoint. I think that is an area where Ole Miss is going to be outmanned from guard to guard a little bit against the Bulldogs. He did not go over the top with anything while also saying, yeah, obviously it's a game. We need to win it, and it's pretty important. He was asked Thursday versus Saturday. I thought it was kind of funny because everything leads to recruiting. He said he thought more kids might possibly watch the game on a Thursday than a Saturday.
Yeah.
Just because there's less football on. But otherwise, whatever. Same for both teams.
Yeah.
He has not spoken to Elijah Moore about the incident last year, and he has not spoken to Mike Leach about the toxicity of the rivalry. So, no, pretty much not. He said manage his team and move on with the day.
The most interesting anecdote today, I'll have an Elijah Moore story out in the next, I don't know, as early as today. It might be tomorrow. I don't know. The most interesting thing was Matt Corral was asked about that last drive in Starkville last year. And his answer was wild. Basically, Matt Corral came in. Look, Matt can't say this. Matt came in and said, this is my last swan song here. I'm going to do it my way. And he checked out of every call that they sent in. They wanted different routes run. He's like, nope. On the 4th and 25, he knew what was coming from Mississippi State. He checked out of the call, got Braylon Sanders on the deep post.
Hit
it. Checked out of some calls close, got the touchdown to Elijah. That, of course, Elijah had the penalty, and we talked about the penalty a lot today. It's pretty interesting that Matt Corral very clearly had all of he wanted with the previous staff. He was done. He can't come out and say that. Because, frankly, Matt's an NFL prospect right now.
A lot had changed in, was it a year, basically, or whenever, since Matt Luke hugged Corral at the end of the field and was like, hey, your turn after the other Egg Bowl when they got in the fight.
Hell, a lot had changed since July when he went to media days as the face of the program. Look, I hate doing this because it comes across like you're picking on the other kid. John Rice Plumlee did nothing wrong. All he did was they put him in and he did the best he could.
Sure.
But that staff knew it was in trouble. It knew it had a player it could market in John Rice Plumlee. Media loved him. Good-looking kid. Ran hard. Made explosive plays with his feet. Had a good storyline, outfielder, played the piano, could sing, all that stuff. It was frankly the only thing entertaining in their entire program. And they thought they could milk him into another year. And they damn near did. And that's the reality. They said Corral can't make good decisions. So instead of, all right, well, let's figure out ways for him to make better decisions because he's our better quarterback. Nope. Screw it. We're going to let him go to Oregon, and we're going to go with this guy. We're going to build our entire offense around this guy.
Ooh.
It's a hell of a note, man. It's a hell of a story. I think I've said it since the Florida game. This is an indictment on Rich Rodriguez. On Matt Luke.
Every game Matt plays well, yeah. More and more.
Frankly,
and more
on Jacob Peeler and everybody else who's on that staff that nobody in the room ever, and maybe they did. One day we'll find out. Someone goes, hey, just thinking out loud here, why are we not playing Corral? And it is the calling card at Ole Miss for Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin likes to say, hey, he's asked about like A.J. Brown, for example, and DK Metcalf, and his response is, well, I didn't coach those guys here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's good for Ole Miss.
Yeah. The association is not a bad thing. But
yeah, it's a good thing. But I can't tell a recruit, hey, look what I did with DK Metcalf.
No, I mean, he's still marketing the tight end at FAU. Harrison.
And Amari Cooper.
What's his name?
Harrison Bryant.
Bryant, that's right.
He gets more mileage out of Amari Cooper than he does DK Metcalf today because Lane didn't coach DK. But Lane can walk in and say, well, I mean, you see what I did with Matt Corral. Took him from scrap heap to people talking about him leaving now.
Yeah, I think he'll come back.
Oh, I do too, but he's put him on the radar. It's a hell of an accomplishment.
Well, now look, I mean, talk about matchups and Egg Bowl and whatever. Georgia, which does not have a prolific passing attack, even though Daniels did play really well, lit them up.
Yes.
Any passing attack is going to light State up.
What's the over-under on this
67.
game? I like the over.
I think it's 67. I think it opened at 65 and moved to 67.
Yeah, I like the over.
The line actually came down immediately. We'll look in a second, see where it's at. It opened at 11.5, and I saw it at 11. I don't know what it's done since then.
I'll find it here in a second.
Look, Lane gets his best players to football. That's what he does. We've said it over and over again, and that's what the offense is. Find matchups with your best players. As he said the other day, you got LeBron, you're not passing the ball. Shoot it.
Right. If James Harden's on your team, you want to get the ball to him. It's not all that complicated. I mean, people make football more complicated than it is.
Love to know what was going through Rich Rod and Matt's mind as Corral's doing that during that game.
furious.
Yeah.
Livid. But he had to
not necessarily wanting to lose, but wanting it to screw up, probably.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Now, I'm told, and you've heard this too, I'm told that as that game transpired, people felt less and less confident about their chances of getting another year, even before Elijah's deal. They'd built so much around Plumlee, and people like you and me, especially me during that year, had said, the problem with a running quarterback like this is what happens when he gets dinged up.
Yeah.
And then he got dinged up, and he was completely ineffective against State. Corral comes in and made plays. Now, Corral did come in and almost threw a pick that would have ended it.
The line keeps coming down, by the way.
Yeah, I was just
down to
looking for
9.5 now.
Oh, yeah, there it is, 9.5.
So open at 11.5, and then I haven't looked at the full movement, but it's at 9.5.
Well, I know when I saw it, I thought that's too many points.
59% of the money's on State so far.
Well, I don't have confidence in Ole Miss covering a 11.5-point line against a team that can score.
This is early because over-unders have just now kind of come out and stabilized here. But 100% of the money is over on this book so far. Nobody has bet the under on this game yet.
Mm-mm. Oh, I think Corral could throw for 500 yards.
Odds Shark predicting a 38-26 Ole Miss win.
They've got it at 12.
Yeah.
There are some interesting games in the league.
Which that number would actually go under for the.
It's got Kentucky winning by 22. Curious to see what it's got. It's got Arkansas beating Missouri by 6. Looking for Alabama, Auburn.
The line?
Yeah.
Or the Odd Shark?
The Odd Shark prediction.
Okay.
Found Louisiana Tech. It's got Ohio State beating Illinois by 35. I mentioned Kentucky, Florida.
Yeah.
Just don't see it. Maybe I'm cruising right by it. It's got Louisiana Monroe hanging in there before losing. There it is. It's got 52-23. Alabama.
52-23.
Yeah.
That wouldn't shock you, would it?
That's about right.
What's that line?
23.5.
Okay.
The over under is 60.5. Most people are betting almost everyone's betting the over. 57% are betting Alabama in the points.
56.
Yeah. But I think State will score on this team too.
Well, of course. I mean,
Avery mentions the weather forecast. That could be. Let's see what is the weather forecast. Earlier in the week, the weather forecast for Saturday was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
I don't know how much weight you've lost. How much weight have you lost?
I don't know that I was necessarily trying to. I mean, I don't know. I wear dark colors and it gets mentioned. Maybe I should start wearing more gray and black.
Maybe so.
I typically wear a lot of kind of light, bright pastel colors. Maybe I'm not doing enough gray and black and gray and stuff.
30% chance of rain, high of 56, high 58. Chance of rain, 30%. Showers in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, high of 58. For Saturday.
Okay.
And then rain Saturday night. Rain showers in the evening will evolve into a steady rain overnight, low of 46. So, could get wet. State's remaining games, Ole Miss, and then I think in this scenario they will get, I don't know who they play on the 5th. They'll play Auburn on the 12th.
Who else do they have left?
How many games have they had canceled? Just the one?
Just one.
So they'll play Auburn on the 12th.
Okay. And that's it.
Yeah. Although I guess they could go ahead and move Auburn up and play it on the 5th because Auburn's going to lose their game next week. So they could go ahead and play Auburn.
Oh, right, because, moving around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And get done.
And you'd rather go ahead and get done because, I mean, there's no reason to wait a week.
Yeah, and then Auburn could play them and then have a weekend off and then play A&M on the 19th.
Yes. That's correct.
Probably that game would be determined by TV. Do the TV people want Auburn in state on the 5th or the 12th? That's what that decision would come down to. Probably they'd go ahead and schedule it for the 5th, where if you had a problem, you'd have a little more room.
I do want to go back and look. I'm looking at it today.
Oh, State's still got to play Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they'll play Missouri on the 5th, Auburn on the 12th. Yeah.
Sounds good. And they can play on the 19th if they have to.
Auburn will be playing Texas A&M on the 19th.
Missouri could. Unless they're playing Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I guess Missouri can't. They're out of there's no more room.
Okay.
There's no more cancels.
It has to go this way.
Yep, no more cancel room.
I do want to go back and look because I don't. I mean, we've had a hard time kind of picking the Egg Bowl of late, but for the most part, I don't buy the whole this is going to happen because it's a rivalry game thing. I am curious. At times, the lines were double digits and what happens because really this game has not been a double digit Vegas game very often. So I'm kind of wondering what that looks like. I want to go through those a little bit today, tomorrow.
Okay.
Because typically when that's happened, it's such a blowout in one direction where you're like, sure, like 11 and 8 and stuff where, okay, fine, yeah, whatever. But there haven't been many times where you could see both teams winning the game, yet it be a double-digit Vegas spread. So, I don't know. This thing typically sits between 3 and 6 most years, just in the past. But I don't know. State's going to drop 8 defensively and try to get pressure with the defensive front. And Ole Miss, we'll see if they can tackle and stop anything. Because, look, State's throwing the ball, but they're doing tons of checkdowns and swings and stuff that resembles a run game. I mean, it's all a bunch of short stuff. Rogers did not go down the field hardly at all Saturday night.
No, State he took what they gave him. So it's about tackling. It's going to be a bunch of points.
I mean, Lane said last time it was 10-7 when he and Mike got together. So, if you think it's 10-7, you can win a lot of money this week because just don't buy it.
No 10-7. I think it's lots of points.
State's front's good. I mean, I am curious to see what Ole Miss does to kind of counteract that a little bit. But, I mean, Alabama's was good, and they scored 50 points. So, I mean, whatever. That sort of is what it is. Basketball. So, Justin Reed Classic canceled. That, again, is those 3 games. Central Arkansas, Arkansas State, Jackson State. Memphis canceled, and Ole Miss, as a team, shut down until December the 7th. You know that Kermit was positive. The press release this morning said multiple positives within the program. I don't know what that means from an additional number standpoint at all. I don't know what that meant. Contact tracing.
I mean, multiple means 2 or more.
Sure. So it could have been 1 player. It could be 5 players. I don't know.
Well, multiple, it means at least it's 2.
But it's like players or people in the program because Kermit's already positive. So would he count on that number?
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the additional looks like there.
I'm going to guess that it's just kind of based on things I've heard. I'm going to guess that it's cases not including Kermit.
Because Kermit had not contact traced anybody, which is what's amazing.
Right.
He didn't.
Although, who knows how it all I'm everyone's going to be okay. They're fine. From a schedule standpoint, this is just going to be the norm. It's what I think has to bother. This is what bothers me about all of this, if I'm honest. And then everybody tells me I'm not taking the virus seriously enough. When you shut down all basketball stuff between now and December the 7th, so today's the 23rd, so we're talking
2 weeks.
14 days.
Mm-hmm.
Guys come back on December the 7th. Are you in shape, ready to play? And I don't mean cardiovascular. I mean,
can they still get in the facility? Is the facility
I don't
open?
know. I don't can't not at the same time. And you got to have somebody there to wipe everything down with, I guess, bleach and whatever the hell.
I don't know. Surely the guys can work out, right?
I don't know.
I want to say when baseball was
well, in
paused,
football, because I asked one of the football guys during your quarantine, were you able to do anything? And the answer was no. They wouldn't let us do anything. Had to stay in our rooms. So now you're going to go back out and play competitive high-level basketball?
I think when the baseball program was in their 2-week pause, if you had not had a positive test or you had previously been positive, you could still work out in small numbers in the facilities, I think. Now, again, that doesn't really fix the problem we're talking about, but it's at least something. I mean, otherwise, I don't know what you do. No, look, today's been a bomb going off. I mean, was it Duke that lost its opener? Rick Barnes has COVID. Syracuse that lost its opener today too, as far as being played, something like
Is that right?
Somebody's not traveling somewhere. I mean, no, a bomb has gone off on basketball schedules today to the point that
Florida was supposed to go play,
they're not.
and they're not.
I think I saw Jason McIntyre. Maybe it was some national guy. I mean, he put the over/under on 5 November games being played. Period. Just thought.
In general.
Yeah, I just thought everybody was going to have this grenade.
Well, a lot of people in college basketball circles are like, why did we not just schedule the seasons to start in January and play the tournament in May? And my theory on that is because CBS looks at it and says, or whoever's Turner, because we really don't want the tournament in May.
We saw what that did to golf.
NBA Finals.
All of it.
People didn't not watch the golf because the players were making political statements.
Not their thing.
People didn't not watch the golf because the golf wasn't good. People didn't watch the golf because that's not when you watch the Masters.
Yeah, I told Neal this morning I thought it was 80% time of year, 20% time of day. Because it ending at 2:30 was also a huge detriment, obviously.
Sure.
We're used to watching the Masters until 5:30 or 6 o'clock
Sure.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But time of year was it. They do not watch it in fall and in November on college football Saturdays.
The only people who watched the Masters were the hardcore golf people.
Yeah.
Well, that's not where you're making your money as a TV network. Take me, for example. I'm probably a fairly common guy. I watch the Masters when it's in April. I'm not sure I watched 3 shots this year because it's not – I wasn't conditioned to flip over and watch golf.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, look, I like the NBA. I was able to sort of tune out the political stuff.
But you kind of abandoned it to some extent.
But I didn't, yeah. I mean, now I'm not going to lie to you. When they did the little Milwaukee Bucks shutdown thingy, I was like, all right, that's it. I'm kind of done.
That did hit you a little bit.
I was kind of done. You know, I have a very difficult time listening to people who make $40 million a year to play basketball tell me what a terrible country it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so hypocritical that I have a hard time with it. But I was able to, for the most part, tune that out. But I wasn't used to watching basketball playoffs in August. My body clock wanted to keep up with the Cubs because they're going down the stretch, and every game is, quote, meaningful, end quote.
It shows us that we were wrong on, hey, there's going to be this overload and we're just going to be consumed by it 24 hours a day. No, you're going to follow what you follow. I mean, it's great on a night maybe or a day or whatever, and it might provide something additional. But no, hardly anyone other than the most fanatical of the fanatic could not go, oh, there's 10 things. We're going to follow all these 10 things.
Of course.
Nah,
no.
I'm good.
And so CBS or whoever looks at it and goes, you know, people are used to March Madness. I mean, there's a reason they call it March Madness is because the madness happens in March. Those 2 weekends when everybody stops, people who normally don't watch college basketball stop and watch college basketball, happen in March. Every single year. Never in April. Maybe the Final Four happens in April.
Does, yeah.
But that's not where the March Madness
First
happens. The madness. Middle Tennessee beats Michigan State, and people who otherwise would never give the single damn are like, whoa, there goes my bracket. That happens in March. If you put that in May, I don't know that many people are locked into it.
May is not as bad as some times of the year because it's such a dead month sports-wise. You know what I mean? Like, look, you're going to fall off, and this is kind of being negative to our point because I really believe in our point. But there's not a lot going on. You're not replacing it with something else, at least in that standpoint. But no, it's March. There's a reason that you're doing it there. I mean, which is why they're going to have a tournament then, with some jacked up schedules and jacked up results and just.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be that deal where it's okay. They're now to the same place football was. All right, let's figure out a way to get to the starting line.
Yeah,
and let's figure out a way to get to the finish line.
Whatever.
Yeah. And you might have some teams that go 8-11 or whatever in the SEC, and
I get in.
I'll tell you what I don't anticipate happening. I think you can go ahead and cancel conference tournaments. They're gone. There's no chance they put all those teams together and let something spread and wipe out 7 teams.
Yeah, they can't. Think Ole Miss plays. Let me think. think Ole Miss plays over or under 15 basketball games.
Over.
Okay.
Now ask me 20.
Get a little tight there.
Under.
You think it's conference only?
I do.
You think the non-conference in general is getting wiped out?
It's my gut feeling.
For two reasons. A, you can build some herd immunity inside your programs by that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then B, those are the games that matter anyway.
Well, and it's uniformity.
Yeah.
You know what you're
same,
dealing with.
It's an island.
They're able to do this in football. I think if you had told me, hey, football's going to mix in a game against Louisiana Tech and Mississippi State's going to play Arkansas State, I just think you'd have screw-ups by now.
I think you're right. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs, G&M in Oxford on South Lamar, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions the same day every single month to take care of you, make you one trip, whether it be delivery or pickup, and get what you need when you need it. Also, with Right Way Meds, they will individually package your medications to make sure even time of day is taken care of for those who need that. Again, you can get that along with immune support med packs, Tyson Drugs, and G&M, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a team in Jackson providing planning and investment guidance to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Financial advisors Bill Geary, Logan Phillips, Chris Carrero, and Ryan Geary are partners with a commitment to personalized service. So call them at 601-368-2215. See if they might be a good fit for your financial goals. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. Also brought to you by Heritage Properties. Heritage Properties, home to 3 communities in Oxford, Faulkner Flats, Cambridge Station, and Lexington Point. They're all 3 multifamily housing. They all offer on-site management and maintenance. They're pet-friendly, and they offer short-term leases. Faulkner Flats, located on Old Taylor Road, offers 1-, 2-, and 3-bedroom apartment homes, private patios or balconies, a premier 24/7 gym and training facility, a resort-style pool, a car wash station, and much more. You don't want to miss out on their special rates. 3 bedrooms now leasing for the price of a 2-bedroom. Contact live@faulknerflats.com or call 662-234-4558. So if everything goes according to plan, we will have scoreboard business Saturday at 1 o'clock. We'll have some programming before that, but we'll have that at 1. It's going to be a little bit different this week because I'm going to be pre-taping with Ryan Brown because he's got Thanksgiving kind of stuff and Alabama-Auburn stuff on Saturday. So we'll get him on earlier in the week, but we'll bring that to you on Saturday, and that's brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. There's stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone. The Rogue has all the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, Duckhead, and more. Speaking of Duckhead, the return of this icon brand remains true to its roots by producing garments of enduring quality, timeless style. So come by The Rogue. Welcome back this American icon. Join the revival. Known for their gold school chino for years, the 1865 5-pocket and gingham sports shirts are great for game day, work from home, and have great value. So check out their site, therogue.com. Check them out on Instagram or come by and see them at 4450 I-55 North in Jackson.
We mentioned it earlier. The Corral stuff as far as Mississippi State. You can read it. We'll see the video. We'll do all that for you at rebelgrove.com. But it is one hell of a quote. Got it here in front of me here about the 4th and 26th. Said Elijah had a post from the slot, like a 20-yard post because of the down and distance. I knew they were going to be double teaming him, and they had it too high, so they were going to use that field safety to double team off the field backer. Braylon had a 15-yard stop. I just told him to run a post. Then me and former coach Jacob Peeler, we didn't get into it, but he was telling Braylon one thing and I was telling him the other. When we were in the huddle, Braylon was looking at me like I don't know what to do. I was just telling him run the post. Coach heard me and he goes, no, run the stop. But he ran the post and we got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, whatever.
Listen to this. We're jumping around. It's okay.
Sure. What do you got?
The state of Pennsylvania has suspended alcohol sales starting on Wednesday afternoon through the Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh.
Because of COVID.
Hang on, why?
COVID.
But why? We didn't even do that in March.
Which means all alcohol in the state will be sold today and tomorrow. So you're now telling people, hey, make a wild rush to your liquor store. It's going to get packed, which
all
is
of you idiots.
going to spread COVID. You know people are going to drink at their Thanksgiving dinners.
So now you're forcing the liquor stores to do this percentage inside the store thing and tell people to wait outside until it's their turn and do one in, one out off of whatever their capacity.
And so now you're taking, and a lot of liquor stores are mom and pop liquor stores. They
don't behind the counter is about it.
They don't have the personnel to pull that off.
Not everybody's as busters in Memphis. I mean, you got
yeah. Sometimes I just like, what are we doing and why?
A lot of liquor's going to be sold in 2 days, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to send people panicking to it. Not panicking, but like, hey, we have. I know what people do. I know all these states are, hey, shut down Thanksgiving. People aren't going to shut down. Some people are. Some people aren't. Some people are going to have Thanksgiving. It's the only time family comes in, whatever. They're going to do Thanksgiving. And even if you're not doing Thanksgiving, you probably were intending
like a bottle of wine or a cocktail here or there.
Right? I mean, you get the nice bottle of Chardonnay.
Got the Egg Bowl on Saturday. I need to pick up my rye and my vodka, and hey, we're gonna.
Yeah. Why would you want to punish the liquor stores?
Why the liquor stores? Did they close everything else too?
I don't know.
Or are we just doing liquor stores?
Just liquor stores spread the COVID.
Because Mississippi, to their credit, kept liquor stores wide open back in the day.
Yeah.
That was not even hey, whoa, no.
Well, I mean, why would you want to shut down that tax revenue?
You talked about that. We talked about this in the time, and this is not meant to be funny. This is meant to be something. I mean, we discuss mental illness, different things on these shows a lot, in a very serious manner. The withdrawals that happen in a state like that, when the guy can't go get his half pint on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, suddenly you're potentially up in criminal activity. You're dealing with medical situations. There's a lot of negative side effects.
That's domestic abuse, sure.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that other than, so-and-so just can't go get their bottle of wine on Saturday. That's short-sighted. That's got a lot of ramifications in it that are not.
Sammy says, starting Wednesday night, California stopping all types of restaurant dining except delivery and pickup. Like for 3 weeks. During the holiday period.
I had seen they'd put a curfew in on these things. I did not see that. So, okay.
I mean, when you start impacting retail, Thanksgiving week.
I mean,
you are.
I mean, that's the biggest week of the year, right?
It's the start of, yeah, of course. The wealth redistribution that has occurred during this. The Walmarts, the Amazons, they've all made fortunes. And mom and pop's gotten crushed.
Now you're crushing them even more.
But now you're squeezing them out. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to name names, but there are establishments in this town where we are sitting right now that if there is a second lockdown, they're not going to make it.
Yeah, of course. Frankly, I was surprised as many made it through the first one as
a lot of them are hanging on by a thread. I mean, just literally hanging on by doing all they can do not to default. They've probably pushed everything out. I mean, they've stretched loans, and they can't handle another complete shutdown of revenues. I saw where Matt Leinart said he was ready to leave Los Angeles. People just lost their minds on him.
Leinart did?
Yeah. Oh, you'd rather eat out than die. It's like, it's not what I said.
Well, that seems a little high.
Yeah, you would rather people die and you be able to eat out. It's like, that's not what he said. It's not what he said. I mean,
it's not even at all what he said.
Not even remotely. The response to that is, it's crazy.
What's Newsom's popularity in California?
I mean, I'm not there, but there's quite a recall that's going on about him. I still have it queued up on my Garagos and Corolla have different political views. I think Corolla leans to the right, Garagos leans to the left. They both universally hate Newsom. There's no one even attempts to defend Newsom.
Now, the only person Corral might hate more probably politically is the mayor of Los Angeles, Garcetti.
Garcetti.
His name is.
Well,
yeah.
and it's so funny because Garagos has said routinely that if you're a Californian, you should absolutely vote for Biden because Biden will hire Garcetti and get him out of California. He's like, even if Biden's not your guy, you get rid of Garcetti.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I saw Matt Stafford's wife got beat up pretty good too over some political stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In Michigan.
Yeah, ours is quite the divided country these days.
A little bit. Everybody's got an opinion. I mean, it's.
Well, everybody's got that. That's lots happened. 22's been rough. 2020's been rough, is what I meant to say.
Whoa. Hope 22's not this rough. We got problems.
Surely 22's good.
Right.
I'm at a place where, for me, it's all about.
You have a date in your head that you need it to be okay by?
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
August 1st, 2021.
August 1st.
Yeah, for a number of reasons.
Schools, businesses, sports. Period. Yeah.
Business, sports.
Kids going back to school.
Caroline.
Yeah, sure.
I want Caroline to have a normal freshman year.
Yeah, that'd be her first day of college.
This is not normal. You know, I mean, look, I don't want to make this. It's not about me, but we all make everything. We all, at the end of the day, you've heard my school shooting analogy.
I have.
A lot of people don't like this. But, you know, you find out there's a school shooting at your kid's school. As you race to that school, your mind's on one thing. Your kid.
And then it branches from there.
Yeah. And then you go, if you are fortunate enough to be able to exhale, you start worrying about your friends' kids.
Yeah.
And then the other kids.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
Tributaries out of it. Yeah.
Should it be that way? I don't know. Is it that way? Yes. So I think about
anything, car wreck. I mean,
Sure.
period. Anything where your kid's in peril, your immediate thought is your kid.
So I think about my kid. And in this case, this is a kid who has wanted to dance since she was 4 years old. Her goal has been to make a college dance
it
team.
seriously has been, yeah. I mean, it's
since she was old enough to have a goal. One of the most vivid memories I have of Caroline was when she was playing. We had just moved here, so that would have been 2008.
Yep.
So maybe it was the summer of 2009 when Caroline was 6, and she was playing softball, and she wore her ballet shoes out to play softball.
Did you really?
Yeah, and it was really cute. She wants to dance.
She got up softball pretty early, didn't
Yeah,
she?
pretty quick. Yeah, that
didn't take.
No, it wasn't for her. She wanted to dance, and so as we get into this time that she's kind of getting herself really ready for dance tryouts, you're starting to hear that the dance tryouts are going to be virtual. I mean, we got something coming up here in the next few weeks that in our house you just don't talk about it, which is. So I guess the Chargerettes have finished second the last 2 years. And this is her last shot to win state.
Okay.
And to say they have committed to it, look, if they don't win state, they will be able to hold their head up high and say we gave it all we had, unless they don't get the chance.
Are they beat by the same school every year? Is it a rivalry sort of deal, or is it bounced around?
It's bounced around a little bit, but there's a couple of main rivals. I mean, you generally know. I mean, they have a real shot at it. But that competition might not happen because it's scheduled for December the 11th.
Okay.
By the way, that Friday I will not be here. If there's a tournament, if they have a competition, I'll be there. It's that deal. But if that gets canceled, that's heartbreaking. And I know people say, well, this doesn't matter. Other things are more important. Well, I'm not disputing that. I get it. But that's the stuff you think about. And, yeah, I'd love for her to be able to try out in person.
Instead of Zoom? Virtual somehow?
I guess so, yeah. So if she makes it, great. And if you don't, you feel like, hey, I left it all on the table. Be able to walk away from it going,
How long are their routines for state?
They have multiple, but 3-4 minutes.
3-4 minutes.
I mean, they spent 5 hours practicing Saturday after dancing on Friday night at the game.
For something that takes 5 minutes.
Yeah. There's a lot of commitment to it. I mean, I have a newfound respect for it.
I've actually covered some state championship dance stuff back in the day. some weeklies that I work for. In all seriousness, I mean, any sport, it's a 60-minute, 3-hour, 2-hour deal. The mental strain of, hey, there's 15 of us or whatever the number is, having to do everything perfect, and if I screw up, I've killed everybody right there and it's over.
Yeah, and the people who judge that recognize a screw up right away.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, well, nope, but peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you almost got to, like, finish your routine and then, you know what I mean? Like, look around and go.
Sure. So that's what you hope. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she gets to have a normal year. Campbell's sophomore year's been weird. I hope her junior year's normal. You know, all that stuff. It's like the schools, you know, the middle school was out last week, which meant no soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So Carson's question all the time is, so if we don't go back, does that mean no soccer? You know, you look forward to a season, you train for a season, and then the season's one game. It's pretty tough.
Oh.
It's not as tough as I can hear people out there. Well, 250,000 people have died. I understand.
Yeah, it's a different conversation. We're not saying, hey, it's more important than eating and living and whatever. It's just.
So, I don't know.
You're hit on every level these days. Whatever level we're talking about, there's something that sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, all the way down. It's.
What's your crystal ball for normal?
Your date's probably where. I think your date is where, not just us, but everybody, because that's school starting back. I mean, there's so many placeholders that are in that August 1st range.
Yeah. Where
mental issues will just escalate at an exponential rate that will be hard to overcome at any point. I mean, I'm hoping for sooner than that. I mean, I would love to say March 1st, but March gets here quick. We're only 120 days out from March.
Yeah. I did see where, God, we're just jumping around. It's a Monday. It is what it is. I did see where there's a third vaccine that's kind of out now. It's about being able to vaccinate people as early as December the 14th, I think I read.
People being beyond first responders and healthcare workers, like the general public, or just in general?
Or just in general.
Okay.
So,
I know it's our Tuesday thing. Would you watch any NFL yesterday?
Yeah. I watched a good bit of Saints because I wanted to see Taysom Hill. Finished better than he started. I tell you what was a great game, Chase. Colts-Packers was a hell of a football game.
Yeah,
was a hell of a football game.
I didn't watch it, but I got really, really interested because obviously being a Saints fan, I need Packers to lose football games.
Well, it was a hell of a football game.
The Colts screwing it up there at the end of regulation had me ready to like throw things at my TV and all over the place.
Two guys, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, two guys that have made a whole lot of money slinging a football and can still sling it. Both of them made some big-time throws yesterday. Jordan Wilkins, by the way, has made a nice career for himself.
Yes.
I cut you off. Phillip Rivers.
No, just say Rivers, he's never going to win a ring. But, dude, on just stats and money and whatever, I mean, because it's what I do. I mean, he's that PGA Tour golfer that doesn't really win, but by God, cashes checks every week. Just rolling in it and is always there.
Oh, he will go down as one of the best 10 quarterbacks to never win a title.
Oh, yeah, because his legacy will get better as time goes on when you compare stats and look at his longevity and all that kind of stuff and go, wow.
He comes out, so he and Eli and Roethlisberger, all three will be Hall of Famers.
You think Rivers is a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Do you really?
I do.
Okay.
I think the numbers, he's a statistical Hall of Famer.
I wonder, though, if stats get decompressed on us for that, because everybody's stats in this passing era are going to get so inflated.
They are, but his has so much longevity.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, you know, he One of the same reasons Eli's going to do it. There was a certain Iron Man quality to Eli's game that a lot of people looked over until you look at it today and you go, son of a gun, that dude never came out.
Yes.
Rivers is the same way. I mean, two guys that just answered the bell time after time after time after. It's the part of Tom Brady's game that we don't talk about. He missed the 1 year because of the knee, but ever since then, Tom Brady, the bell rings and he gets up out of his corner.
Yeah, Brady, because of his other stuff, his wife, his media persona, the whole deal, he's almost got like this unfair, soft.
Oh, he's got a Hollywood thing to him, and it's completely unfair. He's a Midwestern kid,
quarterbacking in Boston,
with kind of Midwestern values, who just gets up and plays hard. There's a lot to Brady that I don't think he gets the credit for a lot of reasons. And yeah, he's married to a supermodel, and he's become a pretty boy and all that stuff, but that's kind of not who he was.
Terry was listening to you talk.
Yeah, I'm sure. She's always listening, Chase. But, Phillip Rivers is a kid, coach's kid, North Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Auburn wanted to recruit him as a tight end because I would always give Noel Mazzoni hell about it. And he would say, yeah, we screwed it up, but we had a lot of company screwing it up.
Yeah, you can't pin when nobody does something, you can't put that on one.
No.
Ole Miss is doing that a little bit with everybody talking about Trey Fryfogel's kid. It's like
no. And I watched that. By the way, that was a great game. They came back, and that was entertaining. Trey Fryfogle gets lost in the shuffle at Ole Miss. He got time to develop. Wasn't a deep receiver room at Indiana, and his story's a great one. But it doesn't happen here in all likelihood.
No.
And nobody else in the SEC recruited him either.
No, that's my point. Yeah, it's not like Ole Miss was the one team that didn't decide to give him a shot.
So sometimes those kind of deals work out. He's better off where he is today. Felipe Franks is better off at Arkansas than he would have been had he stayed at Florida. Because now he's kind of getting to run his sort of system. His NFL stock is starting to get actually on the radar. And he gets to come back for another year. He's one that will benefit from the virus. Mm-hmm. He'll come back and get another year as the Arkansas quarterback and a chance to prove that he can do this. He made some throws the other day against LSU that were impressive.
They played fine.
Well, they did. They ran out. They had no defensive linemen, and it cost them. And the targeting call at the end, that's got to get reversed.
I wonder if that's a positive for Ole Miss because State doing that 2 weeks in a row like that, you know what I mean, with the no depth up front where you can kind of get it, adrenaline and just kind of one game, but you get the week off, you got to do it again. Suddenly those legs go a little bit on you. It's been a long season. Could be one benefit for the Rebels. Lane did say today that he thought Otis Reese would play a pretty good bit on Saturday against the Bulldogs. Said that he actually was running service team wide receiver at one point earlier this week, but that once they got him eligible, they moved him back to the spot and have been practicing him. So, because of efficiency, they have not been giving him full starter reps, obviously, at safety this season. That would be stupid. So. Let's see.
No, actually, Daniel says Franks isn't going anywhere. Great guy, but NFL talent. I've actually talked to some NFL people who think he's got that arm that's going to give him a chance to hold a clipboard in the league for a little while.
Really?
Because he can make the throws. Smart. Can read defenses. If you can play a little bit, you can handle not being the man, you can make a lot of money.
Oh, look, there's dudes that have made a ton over 10, 15 years holding clipboards. A few snaps here, a few snaps there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think stupid off the field.
Sure.
Just look, this is a running trope on our show. There are only about 15 dudes that can play football competitively in the NFL at quarterback. The rest of the rosters have starting quarterbacks that are nowhere near that top 12 to 15.
Oh, sure.
So the backups, just
that's what I mean.
Tread water.
There's a reason Phillip Rivers is still making money at 40. Tom Brady, Drew Brees,
They do it better than anybody else.
Aaron Rodgers is getting on up there a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's still got it. He can still throw the fastball.
We're not talking about the Steelers enough. They're 10-0.
No, they're really good.
We're not talking about that.
They're really good.
Nationally, people are not talking about
Someone asked about Mike Hilton. Is he approaching all NFL status? Yeah, for sure.
He's
For
great
sure.
system, great fit, great spot.
Yeah, yeah. Smart.
Such a little dude out of high school. I mean, just.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those that Freeze and them don't get enough credit for.
Him, Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Evan's had a hard time catching the football this year.
Cody Core.
Cody Core.
To some degree, Quincy Adebayo, but I think he was pretty heavily recruited.
Yeah, I mean, that was. And in that spot right there where Ole Miss kind of made hay getting 4-star receivers out of Texas over and over and over again out of that group.
Jarrett Guarantano is not working because he can't figure it out. He can't read defenses. He doesn't know what he's doing.
That dude.
He must be. Ryan Brown had one of the best, and he meant it to be funny, but I took it. I kind of thought about it for a minute. I'm like, oh, he's right. He must be one of the best practice quarterbacks ever. He must light it on fire.
He also shows you what the rest of that quarterback room must look like.
Yeah, how hard it is, man.
Where they go.
Look, if you don't have a quarterback, it's not breaking. If you don't have a quarterback, it's hard to win. I mean, Missouri had the little quarterback play. That's the reason they beat South Carolina. The kid for LSU, Finley, he's not a bad player. He made some big-time plays on third down. Their problem is defensively. That game was dead even, LSU, Arkansas. Like both teams had within 5-6 yards of each other.
Who's LSU play this week?
LSU plays A&M.
Was it A&M?
Yeah. Yeah, 6 o'clock on ESPN.
Can North Carolina scare Notre Dame this weekend?
Yeah. Scare them.
Line 7.5.
Yeah, I can scare them. Iowa State and Texas is a good game. It's Kentucky at Florida, Arkansas at Missouri, Auburn at Alabama, Mississippi State at Ole Miss, LSU at Texas A&M, Georgia at South Carolina, Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Now, sneaky, that's one of the biggest games of the week.
Who?
Tennessee Vandy. If I tell you that,
what
if I tell you that Vanderbilt wins,
they fired him. They just gave him a hell of a huge contract.
All right, look.
Huge.
I
Which
know.
was stupid.
I know. Well, I mean, if he loses to Vanderbilt, he's going to lose to Texas A&M. Can you lose 8 games in a row at Tennessee in a year like this one when people thought this was going to be your breakout year? Can you do that?
They had the longest win streak and whatever there at one point. Ugh.
Listen.
I don't think financially they can do it, though.
Well, we had this conversation about South Carolina.
I know.
And Tennessee's about to that place where they sit down in the meeting room, I guess when Phil gets over his quarantine.
You really didn't believe this, though. Like early in the year, we said, hey, how many? If I'd have said, hey, 3 SEC coaches getting canned during the year, you'd have went, oh, good God, shut up.
I would have said no.
No shot.
I would have said no. But it took perfect storm kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mason out?
I think so. I think he wants out. I think they want him out.
Let's just call it a day.
There's probably a dollar figure that could be met in the middle to make it all go away.
Mm-hmm.
And he could go name his defensive coordinator gig.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Make a lot of money doing it.
Sure.
And could even get another head gig.
Sure.
Nobody's going to hold Vanderbilt against you.
No, he'll have to hit the reset button, but yeah, sure. But now this deal at Tennessee, when they sit down in their big orange chairs around the big orange table, and they start having this conversation, somebody in that room is going to say, excuse me, Coach Fulmer, just for a moment if I could. You know the big stadium that we have on the river? So I've been kind of doing some math. And you remember how when you were the coach, we had a big obese person in every one of those seats? They're not full anymore.
Yeah.
We're bleeding. And I was just thinking, Coach Fulmer, that we might not be able to afford to keep him, but with all due respect to the Big Orange God, I think it might be worth discussing whether we can afford not to do this.
Yeah.
And it's probably a legitimate conversation where someone that's the bean counter gets in the middle of that and it's like, well, this is kind of close.
Yeah.
And then there's all these unknowns because it's like, well, are we back to normal in August?
And you got to replace him with somebody who not only is going to be cool or popular, but he's going to win. To that psycho fan base's understanding.
So, and this is where their hand raised God needs to say, oh, and by the way, Coach Fulmer, I was kind of wondering if I could get a raise because the next question is, so let's talk Hugh Freeze. And Fulmer says, no. And they say, well, we got media people campaigning for him, and they do. Clay Travis is campaigning for him. Whether you like Clay Travis or dislike Clay Travis has a pretty big platform and is making a lot of money campaigning.
As a Tennessee fan.
As a Tennessee fan. You've got radio stations up there pushing for Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze won at Ole Miss, and Tennessee views Ole Miss as this low-level program that even though Ole Miss has won more than Tennessee has for 20 years, Tennessee has Tennessee derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
And their perception is they are an elite power. It's not their reality, but it is their perception, and that perception's worth talking about. If you're inside that room, is Hugh Freeze worth the gamble? Because South Carolina kicked those tires and went, nope. If you're wondering, has Hugh Freeze changed? Nope. He's still searching his name on Twitter. Still doing it. Think of how many people in his life have said, don't search your name on Twitter. And he can't help himself.
And he responds.
So he hasn't changed. So you're getting the whole Hugh Freeze experience. Getting the whole thing. So after you dish out the money, so here's the thing, to your point. Once you get rid of Pruitt, okay, he's out. He takes his money, and it's not his fault anymore. I mean, it is, but it's not.
Yeah, sure.
He's not there to fix it. So if you bring in Freeze and that doesn't work, you're done. It's over. I don't care who you are, what title you put. You can call yourself Alabama. Do 4 bad coaching hires in a row and see what the hell happens.
They're already at that. I mean,
and that's where they are. So is it Hugh Freeze? Is Hugh Freeze the answer at Tennessee? Does Hugh Freeze change the calculus at Tennessee? On the field, off the field, on the recruiting trail? He's going to bring Maurice Harris and company with him.
The calculus to become – they can already be the 3rd best program in the East. Can he get above that? And I don't give them any chance of being ahead of Georgia or Florida long term.
Well, you're hiring him to do that.
I know. That's my point.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, it's not – it's Jim Harbaugh. And
if it's not him, who is it?
I don't know. I have no answer. Who fits at Tennessee that can do that? I don't know. Be sure to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's a weird deal. Everyone's talking Freeze, and look, I'm all for Freeze getting back in the league because that's good for my business.
Cha-ching.
I mean, thank you. Before people say, "Oh, you're just down," no, I would love for Hugh Freeze to get the Mississippi State job. I mean, it would just, you know that. I mean, count me in.
662-259-0991. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, no, we'll hang up and listen. Yeah, no, it's. But if you're them, I mean, no joke. The hand raised guy in that room is like, wait a minute, there's way too much on my plate. But if they lose to Vanderbilt,
I know
they're going to lose to A&M because A&M's better than them. And they're going to go into an offseason coming off of, 7 straight losses with the quarterback that's in his 9th year in the program, and he still can't – he's colorblind.
Yeah.
It's not the Jameis Winston deal with the Saints where Peyton goes, well, I mean, he's just kind of an insurance policy, and I tried it, and it didn't work. And no, this is your guy. You ran off other quarterbacks and sat other quarterbacks for this guy. This was your decision.
Yeah. Crazy. NFL tomorrow. We will do obviously more interviews. Ole Miss players tomorrow, I assume. I don't think Thanksgiving schedule screwed up anything. From
I think it's exactly the same.
I think we're full go. So we'll.
By the way,
yep.
Let's do this a little bit real quick because
Sure.
I ran way over on that. We're also brought to you by the College Corner. We'll have picks up this week. It's a 3-way tie for first place now at Neal's picks. Somebody's not in first place, but he's right there, just 2 games out. It's brought to you by the College Corner. It's one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area, 1 in Ridgeland, 1 in Flowood, collegecornerstore.com. We are also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Happy birthday to Stacy Wall at Pinnacle Trust. I saw where it's his birthday today. I need to reach out to him and say hello. Pinnacle Trust, it's pintrust.com. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John doesn't have a crystal ball, but he does have a ton of knowledge of where the deals are in the travel business, and there are deals to be had. So get in touch with John. Give him some parameters and a budget. He'll give you tons of options. 901-494-3387. J. Edwards at regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. Also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Bain, Moss, and Bowen. Located in historic downtown Corinth, their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. It's the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth or by calling them 662-287-1620. You didn't. I cut you off before you could even answer. What did you think of Taysom Hill as the Saints quarterback?
It's fine right now. It worries me from a long-term standpoint because of, frankly, his body getting beaten up. Because he's only as solid as he is given his running ability, and I just don't know over a long period of time if you want to put your starting quarterback through that. Now, look, Sean Payton believes in him. He compares him to Steve Young, and they're paying $16 million a year. I mean, that is what it is.
He sure didn't look like Steve Young.
No.
Now, he did make a couple of throws that got dropped.
His arm strength is good.
Thomas dropped one on him early that probably could have helped him settle in.
There's no doubt about that. He's fine. I'm a Jameis proponent because, look, Jameis is going to throw it to the other team. He's going to frustrate the hell out of you, and maybe those come at very critical times and you lose games because of it. But he can operate the full offense in a way that I'm not sure Taysom Hill can right now. I don't know. I mean, look, Sean Payton knows a whole lot more about it than any of us do, and he's fully we know where he's putting his eggs. Now, Breeze has to be back, or they're not going to make a run anyway.
Right.
Neither one of these 2 other quarterbacks are going to do that.
But they have the room to let Breeze heal for a month.
Oh, they do and they don't. You do because you have no choice but to.
Right, but you can give him that extra week.
I mean, they're only a half game up in the division right now.
Yeah, I know.
Or a game and a half, whatever, I don't know.
But the Packers are not this insurmountable foe.
No.
None of the teams out west are so great that they're unbeatable.
No. I'm only thinking about home field is not even really a home field. It's I want the bye.
Right.
Only one team gets the bye. That's why I'm obsessed with the number 1 seed.
Right.
It really has nothing to do with home or away or whatever. Fine. They'll play.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
A Packers-Saints NFC title game would be
fun. Yeah.
Fun. I don't know. The Seahawks, I don't know that they're good enough on defense to really do it.
Right now the Cardinals
are very interesting. But it feels like they're a year away.
It does.
And then the AFC's just – I guess it's the Chiefs.
It's
got to be the Chiefs.
One, but, dude – after that, if they got upset, just throw them in a hat and pull one out. I don't know.
And there are teams that could beat them.
Sure. Yeah. Raiders almost beat them twice.
Yeah.
Raiders are a good team.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Titans are good. Ravens are good. They're good teams. I mean, it's the NFL. There's going to be good teams.
Yeah. So we'll do more of that tomorrow. A lot of NFL on Tuesday. As always, we'll look at that postseason picture and more tonight. You've got Rams who tonight? Monday night game. Isn't it Rams?
I don't know.
I thought Rams Tampa Bay. Rams at Bucks.
Oh, that's
tonight.
right. That's actually not bad.
6-3 Rams, 7-3 Buccaneers tonight in Tampa. So Aaron Donald, Tom Brady, your Monday night game. Plenty more Ole Miss stuff at rebelgrove.com and more. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.